What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Normally, I would do, share my portfolio, my M1 finance portfolio, show you guys what I've been up to, give you a quick market update, stock market update, let you guys know what I've been up to. But today's a little bit different. I had a conversation with a friend today, and he was struggling to get his footing financially. He's like, hey man, and I get this question a lot. How do I get right with money? How do I, how can I be good with money? Or I get random statements like that. People have interest in creating passive income. A lot of people, there's this fire movement. There's this desire to become debt free. There's a desire start building passive income and getting out of debt. And I don't know if it comes in seasons or what. I know we got a recession that, me personally, I think we're already in a recession. But I think, the lawmakers, for whatever reasons, they're not saying that we're in a recession officially, even though we've already passed like 2 months of, or excuse me, 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Whether we are or not, that's neither here nor there. The thing is with the recessions though, is recessions hit differently. They don't hit everybody the same way. And a recession can hit different families differently. And it has everything to do with your mental state, your financial state, and from a financial state, it's like, okay, how much debt do you have? How much income do you have? What do your monthly expenses look like? Do you have a car payment? How big is your car payment? What is your, monthly car payment in relationship to your income? What is your car payment? What is your mortgage payment? What is your rent payment? What are your credit card payments in relation to your savings account balance, in relation to your stock account balance, so it's how stable is your job? Do you have one source of income? Do you have multiple streams of income? There's a lot of different factors. Do you have child support, for example? It's like, there's how many kids do you have? What does your monthly expenses look like in your budget in comparison to what your income is and how stable your income is? I actually watch Richard Fain. I find him entertaining. I think he offers some good value overall in his videos. And some people look at Richard Fain and they're looking at what kind of cars he has, what kind of cars he's had, where he tends to spend his money. But the thing is everybody is different. So going back to my friend, and you can do well having nice cars and still save. You can have nice cars and not be in a position to save it. Excuse me. You can have nice cars and not be in a position to save because your cars cost too much in relationship to your income. Everything is in relation to your income. Everything's in relation to your savings. There's these things called ratios, and a lot of people just don't quite understand it. And there's stages of the game, just like any video game. I'm a big Call of Duty fan. Well, not so much anymore, but I used to be. Call of Duty, and I prestige I don't know how many times, right? I think I got to a point where you couldn't prestige anymore. You're just done prestiging. Anyway, the point is there's levels to the game, and so my buddy, he's not realizing what it takes. So, for example, he's got car, he's in a situation where he's trying to figure out, okay, how do I get to the next step? Car payments, credit card payments, minimal rent. There's a number of different things that he's got going on that I had, and I have still to some extent, but I got past these things over periods of time, and we talked about what it would take for him to get right. He wanted to, basically get to a point where he could pay all of his bills in like less than a week of working, right? And right now he's living paycheck to paycheck, which is fine because that's where I started off. I started off like worse than paycheck to paycheck. But it's funny because I'm gonna go outside right quick. I'm gonna go outside because this lighting is awful and it's actually nice outside. Oh, wait, I got a package here. Hold on. Let me get this package right quick from Amazon. Always bringing me something, right? So, anyway, I don't even know what this is. But, so the thing is it's all about there's levels to the game. There's levels to the game, and not everyone can do the same thing at the same time. And so what I mean by that is when I first started, when I first started, I found my situation in, when it comes to finance, I found my situation to be almost depressing. There would be some mornings I would wake up and it's like, man, I don't want to do this. I literally wouldn't even want to do it. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go to work. It was like I felt like I was a slave to my. Sorry, I'm gonna just try to get this phone set up so I can not have to hold the phone. All right. So I felt like I was like a slave to my stuff. Set the phone up too high. Sorry. There we go. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, so I felt like I was a slave to my stuff, and it was like, man, number one, I don't traditionally like to wake up early, and I remember this one time in particular, I woke up. It was like 5 o'clock. No, it was like 5:45, maybe 6:05, and I had to leave the house at like 6:30 to get to work on time. And I would always hit the snooze button. I still do that now, but I will always hit the snooze button, and I find myself racing to get out the house, half tired, half awake. In the colder months, it's even worse. To run outside to my car, which was parked outside, and it was so cold. And I remember when I would start the car, I'm sitting in this car, waiting for it to warm up. I got frost in the windows, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, like if I didn't have this stupid car, or more importantly, if I didn't have this stupid car payment, I wouldn't have to do this. And that was what I was thinking when I started, the car that morning. And I will never forget that morning. And I had like a $400 and something car payment. Now this wasn't like, I know $400 as a car payment today is not a big deal. I think that the average car payment today is something like $600, maybe close to $700. So car payments today aren't what they used to be because of inflation. But this is like 20 years ago or so. But I just kept thinking, man, I don't want to have to do this. I hate sitting in traffic. I don't like getting up early. I didn't like the job that I had. My manager, she was nice. She was cool, but I just didn't like doing what I was doing. The job was boring. It didn't pay that much money, and it occupied so much of my time. And it was draining. So I would leave the house at like 6 something, and then by the time I got done with the day, it was like 4. And then I would drive home in traffic, and I'm back home at like almost 6 o'clock. So like the whole waking day was gone. And then at the end of the day, I have just enough to pay my car payment, gas, a little bit of rent. I was helping, paying my mom to stay there. What else did I have to pay for? My car payments, my credit cards, some hangout money and stuff like that. But it was just like, man, like this really it really blows to feel like you're a slave to your stuff. And that's how I felt. And I found myself in multiple different, very, very tight, painful financial situations. And I will never forget this morning though. And it made me so angry and frustrated me to a point where I was like, yo, I got to do something about this. And it was from that moment forward that I forever had this feeling like I got to get out of this, as they call, rat race. I couldn't do it anymore. And I've been working at this for 20 years, and I could stop working today. I literally could stop working. I've done the math. I don't have to work anymore. But I now choose to work, and I live life differently on different terms. So, but the point was that I had to hit this point in my life that I had to make changes. I had to make significant changes in order to get to where I wanted to be financially. I used to think, oh, I have to invest in real estate. Oh, I have to invest in the stock market. Or I have to do this or that. I didn't really know what it took to create passive income. I didn't really know what it was going to take to build a business that I could live off of. Heck, I was even having trouble building a business that was profitable. So, but the bottom line was this. This is what I realized. And there's so much I want to share on this channel, but I didn't have anybody who was really trying to do what I was trying to do when I was trying to do it. I would meet people who clearly had figured it out, but I never knew anyone who was actively trying to get out of the system with the same passion that I had. Other people, everyone says they want to do it, but no one actually does it. You know, most people stay stuck in a bad financial situation, or they live a life that they don't like. For me, it was kind of both, because I was stuck doing what I didn't want to do and I had no money. So when I woke up this morning, not this morning, when I woke up that morning, I just realized, like, I gotta do something. It wasn't that day. At some point later, I bought a notebook and I started writing down some goals that I wanted to achieve. And I didn't know at all how I was going to achieve them. But the very, very interesting thing about goals is that a written goal has a very, very high likelihood of being achieved compared to dreams and wishes that are never written down. If you follow that goal up with some actionable steps, written actionable steps, you increase that success rate. And then if you go to a step further by executing on those actionable steps every single day, you exponentially increase your success rate. So anyway, the bottom line is this. So I told my friend, I was like, dude, if you want to get right with money, it's got to be so, you're going to have to make some changes. And me, I was trying to make changes fast. And the faster you want to do it, like, the faster you want to do it, the more aggressive you need to be. And I got aggressive with it. I'm not gonna lie, because I was just impatient. I wanted to hurry up and get there. But for me, much like working out, much like most things, it's a mind game. And what I realized was that I was so angry and pissed off with my financial situation. I was like, look, nothing else is more important than me getting out of this crappy position that I was in and putting myself into a better position. Period, point blank. I don't care about sneakers, and I'm a sneakerhead. I don't care about cars, and I'm a car enthusiast. I don't care about rims, turbos, superchargers. Don't care. You know, now the flip side to that is I lost a little bit of, I lost several hobbies because most of my hobbies were so expensive. And I was trying to hurry up and get to where I was trying to go. I let a lot of things go. And so now it's like, man, I'm like, man, what did I used to like doing? But the point is, for my friend, is I was like, dude, you have to be to a point in your head where it's so painful, the current situation, you can't stop thinking about improving it. And that's where that's where I found myself. And it made it so that any obstacle that was in my way, once I realized where I needed to go, I didn't care what obstacle was in my way. I was gonna get to where I was going financially. If I needed to learn some new skills, if I needed to, take a course, there's tons of courses online that you can take and increase your income. You can make more money online by learning different skills, acquiring different certifications, picking up a second job, a part-time job. And realizing the order in which I should do things in order to get the biggest bang for my buck the fastest. And one of the things I did wrong one of the first things I did wrong was I invested in the stock market too early. And this will be another video, but investing in the stock market and investing in real estate, I thought passive income would be achieved through investing in the stock market. I could generate passive income through real estate, but there's an order of operations that things should be done in. And it's going to depend on each person. For me, the order of operations that I initially executed on was not the proper order. And so I fell backwards before I went forward. I'll save that for another story, for another video. But the bottom line was this. you gotta really desire where you want to be greater than the temporary satisfactions that you get from life here and there by dealing with mediocrity. You know, like some people say that they want to get out of debt, but yet when the weekend comes, it's a different story. They go to the mall, they go and spend money in different places that money could be could have been reallocated to paying off debt and getting out of debt. Or, you know, if money was super duper tight, like my money was, going to the movies and all this extra stuff, it needed to get cut out. It needed to get cut out because even though it was like $10, $20 at a time, 20 years ago, right? I don't know how much it is to go to the movies now, but $10, $20 at a time then, and then you want to go out to dinner with your girl or your significant other or whoever, all that added up. And every time I would spend some money, it's like, A, that money could have went toward paying this balance down on this high interest credit card, or B, I'm digging myself further in the hole because I don't even have the cash to do the things I'm trying to do. So it's a mind game, it's a mindset, it's how bad do you want it. And I've seen more people fail at it because they weren't ready for what they wanted. But I have seen a handful of people literally achieve going from nothing to significant positions in their life. I'll just say that. And I just hope that this message resonates with someone who's out there, who's trying to figure things out. Because I didn't figure it out until I was... See, a lot of people say, hey, you know, when did you figure out something in life? For example, like when I'm in the gym, some people are like, dude, yo, how long did it take you to get to where you're at? I mean, that's a trick question, because wherever you are at any moment in time, number one, is constantly changing. So what about my physique what about my physique are you asking me about, right? Like, it's kind of like, all right, from a gym perspective, I probably looked the same way for a number of years. How long did it take for me to get to that point? I don't know, you know? Or from a size perspective, but maybe it's like, okay, well, I want to know how do you get as lean as you are? Well, that's another thing. Or, you know, from a size to a lean perspective, to a body fat perspective, to a regimen perspective, from a financial perspective, it's like, how long did it take for you to get to where you're at? You know, I had an M3 one at one point, BMW M3. That was my dream car. Carbon fiber roof, mirrors, all this other stuff. What is it? The competition package. And like, that was my dream car. And I would get out of this car and people just wanted to talk to you and ask you about your car. They wanted to talk about the car. It was just one of those cars that it just drew attention. It was funny. It's just like it's a 3 Series, but it's like, it's an M, right? So if you're into that, it was just a cool car, I thought, you know? And it was a car I had looked at for so many years and just could never afford it. Or once I could afford it, it was like I couldn't justify it because I wasn't, you know. So anyway, but I forgot where I was going with that. But the point was, there's different stages, and you have to attack things in order, right? So financially, it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I get to where you're at? Or how long did it take you to get to where you're at? It's an inevitable, it's a evolving growth. You're evolving over time. You should never be stagnant. It's funny, a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a while, when I do run into people, it's kind of like, dude, how you been? What you been up to? And for me, I don't want to go into all the details of the things that I'm doing because it's just, no one cares. I don't think anybody really cares, right? But at the same time, I don't really want to just tell everything that I'm doing. So I usually just be like, you know, oh, I'm just chilling. That's just the standard response. Oh, I'm chilling, you know, even though I'm not. I don't really chill. I don't even know what it's like to chill because my mind won't stop clicking. I'm always working on something, but that is the new hobby that I have found that really keeps me happy and entertained. It's just like, I have projects that I work on that I think are fun, and uh, they move the needle forward. I do things that move the needle forward, and I'm working on having more like traditional fun stuff to do and going back to more traditional fun hobbies. But if I'm being real, like that's the real deal. But you have to get to a point where enough is enough. I don't want to live the life that I've been living. I want to live differently. I don't want to have to go to a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to have to wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning to go where I don't want to go. I would like to, and maybe if I don't even know who's still watching this video at 20 minutes in, but maybe if you're still here on this video, don't let this video end without you grabbing a piece of paper or just taking your phone out and opening like Notepad or whatever the app, Evernote, whatever note taking app you have on your phone. Write down three things you want to accomplish in your life and just take that first step. And that for me changed my life. I hope it changes your life. And I'll look forward to dropping the next video as soon as I can. Later, guys.